Hey, this is Kirk Duncan, and welcome to our training tonight, and I'm super excited to be with you, to be able to share some of my years of experience with you, because I figure you're an up and coming coach in one level or another, and tonight's going to be fantastic. So make sure you're prepared, got yourself a pad of paper, a pen or so, take some notes on what we're going to be talking about tonight, because from what we're going to discuss, you're going to have some inspiration, some ahas, and things are going to just click and connect together through this share here tonight. I love doing this. I've been doing live presentations to the public for, oh my goodness, can I say 15, 16 years? I do this about every 2 weeks. And I've been doing this for a long time, just trying to help out, support you, guide you, direct you, get you moving. You know what I'm talking about? We got to get you moving on what your life purpose is. Like, how are you serving people out there in the world? So I'm here to help. I'm here to hopefully make sense of some things that you might be stuck on, get you moving. There's people out there that need help. There's people out there that need some guidance, and you are the one who can make a difference for them. So real excited to get started here in just a moment. I'm going to hang tight here just for a few more minutes, and then we're going to start. Now, if this is your first time being with me here on this live show, I'll turn my camera on here. Oh, my camera's right there. There we go. I forgot to click the camera button. Hey, what's up? Good to be with you. I've done live events for like 15 years. And then I started getting into doing webinars like this. And it's just totally crazy to be able to be looking at my camera. And you guys know this. You guys have been on, different video conferencing platforms for, family, work, and all the different things you do. And so it's like you're here in this room all by yourself. And it's like, but then you're out there. So get in the chat box and tell me where you're from. Tell me what's up. Just say hi in the chat box so I know that there's a human being out there. I see Stella's out there. She's already said hi. But really good to share with you. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you. And great to be with you, because I know what it's like for me in my own life is that when things don't make sense, I got to turn to somebody and ask questions, right? There you guys are. Hey, what's going on? Love to see your names pop up on my screen here. Lots of love coming out to you, lots of good energy coming out to you. And you've set aside some time to be here. And I've also planned on some great things to share with you to empower you, help create some clarity so you can take the next step. Because I figure the reason why you're here is because you are inspired and you have been directed to help people in your own way, your own thing that you've got going on. You want to serve people. Wow. Hello, everybody. I see you on the chat box saying hi. Great to have you here. So we're looking forward to this experience. And like I said earlier, make sure you have a pad of paper and a pen to be able to take some notes. Not just what I'm saying, but what comes to you. That's the most important thing to grab whenever you're in a training, is what comes to you. It's like those little moments of inspiration, right? When they come to you and that inspiration shows up, you got to grab it. You totally just got to grab it so that because that's not what the speaker said. It's not what somebody else said, but it came to you. That part's cool. So whenever I'm taking notes, I've got a line down the middle of my paper. One side is the inspiration I receive, and the other one is the gold nuggets that I'm picking up on. So super cool. So tonight we're talking about how to take what you have and really put it out there in front of people. Launch what you have. And there's lots of different terminology that comes along with the launch and launching your business or launching your product or your service or marketing. But we're going to talk about this, but I want to get down into the details of why you haven't started yet and what could be in the way. So looking really forward to this because I love sharing. It's just my nature. So here's some things that some people have said as they have discovered teaching, coaching, mentoring. You are stepping into an area of your life or a phase of your life that is transformational. You being willing to teach, you being willing to share, You being willing to pass along your life lessons to somebody else. It is a huge transformation experience. I really, over the 17 years that I've been teaching and training and coaching, as I've been doing this for 17 years, I have watched other people literally come alive, like at a whole new level, because they are in the pursuit to teach other people and help other people. There's just something amazing about this. And what happens, it empowers the individual, it builds your confidence, you change, you create lasting change, you start to open up the way you speak and connect to people in such a huge way. But a very key part that happens is confidence. The more we go to serve others and help and do our part, we feel like we are contributing, like we matter, like we're playing our role because we're actually helping other people. And so if you've ever felt like your confidence is down, you feel lost in your life, you're confused about what to do next, what you do is you call somebody up and see how you can help them. When you get a little glimmer of what you can do for somebody else, it opens you up. Like, what? Did I just help somebody? And over the years of teaching people how to give presentations and how to coach and how to influence their friends and family, it's just been fantastic to watch that opening happen with the people that are actually in the mode of teaching. So I've had the privilege of doing that, teaching seminars for 17 years. And really the path that I was on, or the pattern that I was on, was doing a live seminar every single month for 12 years. I mean, that's a lot of seminars. That's a lot of get up and go. And you know what they say, that the teacher learns the most. So if the teacher learns the most, it makes sense that we ought to become the coach, become the trainer, become the teacher, become the guide, because it's like so much of that like channels through you. It's so good. So you're here because you want to learn, you have some questions, you're looking for something, or you like to just check in to see what I'm talking about next, whatever you're doing. And if this is your first time being here, welcome, love having you, and buckle up and just let's go for a great ride here this morning on what's happening. So the thought has crossed your mind to help others, and you feel like you have more purpose than what you're actually living right now. And we're going to talk about this and why this is affecting your ability to put your name out there, put your voice out there, so that people can find you. You know, it's like you got to put yourself out there so people can find you. How else are they supposed to find you? It's a big world out there. But here's the big question that happens is, are you being left behind? Are you in the back of the pack, in the back of the line? You know, every time I drive down the freeway, years ago, I came up with this little, I don't know what you call it, but it's just like this little saying. It's called the law of the freeway. It's so funny. But the law of the freeway goes like this. Everybody that you see in front of you, you are behind. But everybody you see behind you, you're in front of. Now, that sounds like so simple, right? But here's what I find. When I meet somebody who wants to make a difference, they really want to make a difference in people's lives, one of the next things that comes to them is they say, oh, I feel like I'm so far behind. And I tell them, I go, you need to go drive down the freeway and look behind you. You're actually in front of a lot of people. So just as much as you feel like you're behind, you're that much in front of other people. And this little voice in people's heads that says, oh, you can't do anything because look how far you are behind all these people. I really believe that voice is like really trying to stop people. And, you know, like who tries to stop people? Well, it's the devil on your shoulder. The devil on your shoulder is trying to talk you down so you don't speak up and share what you have to share with the world, or share with your neighbor what you have, you know, your neighbor, your community, the world. But I hope that you take this law of the freeway and actually ponder on it and just realize you're in front of a lot of people. There's information that people that are behind you in the journey of life and the path of life has never heard before. Like, for example, I could look forward and go, oh, Tony Robbins is way far ahead of me. Maybe I should never teach. In fact, there was a day, let me just tell you this. I've never shared this story before. I was in California at a training, and this is years ago. And as the plane was taking off to bring me back home to Utah, I had this thought cross my mind that said, oh, all these big global trainers are already teaching everybody. Like, there's no room for you, Kirk. There's no room. And as I was flying over these cities, looking out the plane window and looking at all these city lights, I heard another voice that said, they can't reach everybody. There's no way. Because they are at a particular level that some people will never get to. And that's why you're needed, Kirk. So I had the devil on one shoulder. I had an angel on the other shoulder. and I got the devil telling me, nobody is going to listen to you. And I got an angel on the other shoulder saying, you have to do this because there's a lot of people who need help. So I don't know who you're listening to. Who is it? Are you listening to the devil smack talk you? Are you listening to him degrade you and put you down like you're behind and you can't do anything? Or are you listening to the other one, the angel on your shoulder, that's saying, come on, let's go? You ought to check in and see which one you're listening to. But that day when I was flying home, I made a decision. I made a decision that I am way far ahead of a bunch of people, and I want to turn around and help. I want to pass on what I've learned to make their journey easier so that they can get further faster than I did. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to help people get further faster than I did. Like, I hope somebody like passes me up with what I'm doing. I hope somebody like just flies right by me. That'd be awesome. I mean, that's because that's humanity, right? We care about each other. We care about humanity. And because the opposite is, oh, I hope nobody passes me. And that's like squashing everybody. That's like, what? That's devil talk, right? you don't go there. And so I'm here tonight to be able to share. And after I share, I am going to invite you to take a big step with some action steps, get you moving, right? So I hope you're open to taking on some action steps to do something about what you're going to hear tonight. So check in. Are you listening to the devil on your shoulder? Are you listening to the angel on your shoulder? And be conscious who you're listening to. Don't just assume everything in your head is true. There's a lot of devil talk that goes on that really messes with people's heads. So be very aware of that, because all of that causes you to want to stop. And the angel talk is all of that wants you to start. And so check in with who you're listening to. It makes a big difference of how your life turns out. So my life has had a lot of mistakes and a lot of struggles and a lot of difficulties for Kirk Duncan in my life. Little did I know that all of my messes and my struggles would end up being my message of what I talk about. And one of the things I struggled with years and years and years ago, really, really, really bad, was all the talking inside my head. A lot of negative talk inside my head. And back when I was dealing with that, I didn't tell anybody, because the voices in my head said, you're the only one. Don't tell anybody. They're going to think you're a weirdo. So I didn't tell anybody. Well, as I learned what was going on inside my head, and as I learned how to change my mind and get rid of those negative thoughts, I started to perform better, do better, and the choices I made were better. And then when people were coming to me going, hey, what are you doing different? I then started talking about how to control the negative voices in their head. So the very thing I struggled with became an actual class that I would teach. And never in a million years would I have ever thought that my problems and overcoming those problems then would become something that I could actually teach the world, teach kids, teach individuals, teach parents, teach business owners, teach entrepreneurs. And now my own struggle is something that I'm very big about talking about, is watching what goes on inside your head. And now I've been teaching that for 17 years in different aspects in different places. So if you have had struggles, if you have had wrestles, if you've had major failures or even small failures, and you've learned from them and progressed past them or overcame that or learned how to cope with that, that is extremely important information for somebody who's just getting into the similar problem, because they've never experienced before. They don't know what to do. And you could be passing that information on to them so that they could navigate through that better than you did. So it's like paying it forward. You learn something from your struggle, tell people about it, pass it along, help people out. Because if we don't help each other out, the humanity is going to continue to struggle. Our literal human family is going to struggle. And that's not good for all of us to have a huge portion of the human family to struggle. We can all build each other and help each other and move each other through the challenges. But we need people like you to open your mouth and actually share your message. And there's a really good chance your message comes from one of your messes or many of your messes. Every time my wife and I have a challenge in communication or a challenge in coordination, that ends up showing up in a class because it helps other people learn from our experiences and what we did to overcome those challenges. So now anytime I have a struggle, it's like, okay, this is a mess. I'm going to get through it. And then after I get through it, I'm then going to teach what I did to get through it so I can help somebody else out. I think that is so awesome. It is so awesome. I love it. And so to think that way, that like, wow, your very own messes can be a great thing for somebody else. So over the last 17 years, I've developed a lot of different classes and courses that I've turned around and shared with people to be able to help people. And I love building content. I love building programs. I love teaching, being on stage, and teaching a live seminar, a 3-day seminar every month for 12 to 13 years. And that's every month. Before that was like every other month, but almost for 15 years, every month teaching a live seminar of a couple hundred people to 1,000 people, and to be able to be up front and to be able to share my life experiences and what I've learned. I love doing this. I think it's just a wonderful experience to take life experiences and turn it into content that helps other people. And in these audiences are business owners and executives and couples and entrepreneurs and teenagers. And it's just awesome to pass along what you learn. Just so many people. And then when you get a chance to be on TV or be on a podcast or a radio show, just all the people that are out there that are looking for help. There's a lot of people out there looking for help. And so along the way, these 17 years, building 41 different programs, teaching people all over the world, over 6,000 presentations, 85 times on TV, it has been an absolute joy, an absolute beautiful purpose and mission to live this. But you got to know, that when I started, I didn't know how to teach. I didn't know how to tell people. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to organize content. I knew nothing when I started, nothing. And it seems to me that people today are wanting to have some help, like how to get that organized, how to get started, how to really do this. And so that's my purpose and mission now in my life. Instead of teaching all these seminars and all these different classes, that I would teach 17 different classes every year. And now what I do is now I teach and coach individuals how to start their coaching business, how to help them do it, how to get their content together so you can turn your mess into a message. Because if you're this kind of person who's having the thought cross your mind, you got to do something to help people, and you're wondering, what do you help them with? You inside of you have gold nuggets. You have gold inside you that other people would see that information as extremely valuable. Extremely valuable. So let me just tell you a quick story. So I was laying underneath our ski boat, laying underneath the boat, and I was trying to take the propeller off. And the reason why I'm trying to take the propeller off is because the previous time we went on the lake, I hit a rock. And so I bent one of the propellers. So I'm laying under the boat, and I have this big sledgehammer and a 2x4, and I'm trying to pound this propeller off of the boat. And my son was under the boat with me, and we're trying to figure out how to do this. And he literally stopped me and he goes, "Dad, do you know what you're doing?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I just know you got to hit this thing." And he goes, "Hold on." And while we're under the boat, he looks up YouTube and he types in, "How do you get this particular propeller off of your boat on this kind of boat?" And then he found a couple videos. So we're laying under the boat, watching this YouTube video of how to take off a propeller. Within 10 minutes, we knew what to do and not hurt ourselves. So this guy who did this rough video about a 2x4 and a sledgehammer, he showed us where to put the 2x4 and where to hit to knock the propeller off. And I was laying under that boat just going, man, if I could find that guy, I would hug that guy. Like, that guy just saved me a ton of time. And he shared what he had learned. He had made some mistakes taking propellers off. He figured out how to do it really fast. And he put together this short little video, and I learned from the guy. And he doesn't know that I learned from him, but I learned from him. He saved me time. He saved me money. He helped me do it right because he put his wisdom out there to be learned from. So it's like, wow, we all have really good wisdom inside of us, but guess who usually squashes the value of that wisdom? Yeah, you better believe it. You. You're the one who has done that before. You're the one who has made that happen. Wait a minute. Where'd you all go? I can't find you. Hold on a second. I'm looking at my screen. What did I click? Wait for it. If you guys are still there, say something. You're here? What did I just click? Oh, I clicked the share button. All of a sudden, boom. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was like, what? So you got wisdom inside of you, and the little devil on your shoulder wants to make you feel like you're stupid. He wants to make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'm a good old boy, right? I'm a good old boy. I'm from Wyoming, good old boy. Grew up in a small town, 5, 6 stoplights. When McDonald's came to town, it was a big deal. It was a pretty small town I grew up in. So I'm this good old boy who just wants to help people. And now, 17 years later, I have clients all over the world. And I've had incredible success teaching classes and one-on-one coaching and group coaching. And I'm a good old boy. If I could figure this out, you could figure this out too. Now, I'm going to tell you, though, one of the main key things I hope you write down is you have to be consistent. Now, I got a lot to share with you, but I just hope you write that down in big, bold letters. You have to be consistent, because if you don't keep showing up, nobody's going to trust you. You got to show up, right? You got to show up. You got to be there for people to see that you really are legit and that you really are going to do this. So you have wisdom. You've got things to share. I've been teaching and sharing for 17 years. I've learned a lot. And now it's my turn to pass it on to you. So I'm going to talk to you like you are a coach, a life coach, or a mentor, or you are teaching a group of people, whatever you want to call your position, whatever you're doing. But I'm going to talk to you about you and how to expand and open up so that you can have more clients or be more organized in what it is that you're doing, because you got to open yourself out and put yourself out there, because there's a ton of people. There's a ton of people who need your help. Okay, so I consider myself a hybrid coach. There is coaches who follow a system. Then there's other coaches who are intuitive coaches. And then there's other coaches who teach techniques. And I'm a hybrid coach, which means I use a system, I use my intuition, and I use techniques, because they all work together in a beautiful way. And that's how I coach. And my coaching right now, to work with me one-on-one, it's 5 months and it's $25,000. And so $25,000 for 5 months. And so I use a system, I use intuition, I use techniques. And what happens is the person moves forward, we unlock what's stopping them, and we unlock their potential. And that's what I do with every person I coach. And I have a plan. I have certain things that I do. I have a system that I follow, keep them on track. And then I have my intuition, and I know how to use it, and I know what I'm looking for in people. And I also have specific techniques that I use to teach them that they start using to open them up for their potential. So I have a coaching way. And so it's a hybrid coaching. It's not one or the other. It's actually all three. And what I like to do is teach people how to do this, how to actually use all three of these. The reason why I find this very important is because the world has intensified and people have pushed down inside them what's actually stopping them so that they can't even find it. And so my intuitive side, my empath side, is able to search them and find those blocks. And then I teach them specific techniques custom to what they need. And then my system keeps them on track. So I know that the world is going to get more difficult. I know that people are going to become more complex. And people who are a single lane coach, who only use intuition or only use a process or a system or only use techniques, they're not going to know what to do. So I'm always thinking, next year, the next 2 years, like what kind of coach do I need to be next year? And then the year after that, like what is going to matter? So the clients that I have and all the clients that I've had before, I study what they're dealing with, what they're struggling with. And I notice the complexities about what's stopping them. And I study those complexities of stoppers. Because if you don't know the stoppers, you actually don't know what you're coaching people through. But I know what those are. I've been coaching for 17 years. I know where people get stuck. I know why they get stuck. Am I a psychologist? No. But have I been coaching for 17 years? Yes. So I know a lot about people and what's going on, and I can see what's happening to them. And so I know what we need to do next to keep them moving and get them to that next level where they want to go. Or I'm helping them in what needs to happen next to repair that relationship, or get connected to God, or get connected to self. And so I love coaching. I mean, I'm just full on 100% coach. And the hybrid side of this, to me, is going to keep me very valuable very important, very wanted, very needed as we go into the future, because I want to be able to do a great job when I'm coaching. But I also like teaching people how to do this. How to do this, how to activate that intuitive gift. What is the system to follow that I've tested for 17 years? Okay, I've tested it forever. And it's like 17 years is not forever, but it's a long time, especially when you're in it 100%. And then also to learn the techniques that unlock the mind and open the heart. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And when somebody is open to being taught, oh, they just eat this up. They just soak it up, they eat it up, and they start using it. And then they come back and tell me, they're like, oh my goodness, guess what's happened? Guess what happened to my client? Guess what's going on with my client? And I just hear these amazing success stories that they are causing for their clients. I mean, if you're going to coach, you want to be good, right? You want to be really good. Tell me. You got to tell me. Get in the chat box. Tell me, do you want to be a really good coach? Give me a comment or say something, because I don't know about you, but I just want to do a really good job at listening and knowing what technique and how to customize it to fit that particular situation. Are you that same way? Do you want your clients to be like fantastic and doing really well and making big progress? I'm guessing. Okay, I'm seeing you over here and I hear you. Like Carol says, of course I want to be a great coach. I just wanted to see you type it, like claim it, to claim that level. And so, you and I both know that when you're looking for excellence, you need to be constantly studying. If you want to get good, you have to be constantly practicing, learning the next new thing, continuing your education. You can't sit on what you learned 2 years ago and think that's enough. You have to go, okay, who am I going to learn from next? Who's got what I want? Okay, what skill am I going to learn next? So if you're going to be a teacher, you have to be a forever student. Unfortunately, I see coaches that are not. They're not a forever student. They arrive to some level, they think they're smart, they kind of coast, they kind of settle in, and then they wonder why their clients are struggling differently this year than 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, what you learned is not enough. You get to continue to learn. So I hope you, being a teacher, you subscribe to the whole mindset of being a forever student. And it's really interesting to be a coach, but to be a student. Because the best teachers are the best students. Student always comes first. Inside me, be a student. Learn. Always learning, always adjusting, always fine-tuning. And when I find people who are like me, like they're like that, where they want to be a forever student because they really want to be a fantastic coach, wow, do I get along with them? And then I end up sharing a lot with them because I can tell they get it. And they're not in this mode of like, they know it all. I'm like, I know I don't know it all. I'm for sure know I don't know it all. I'm a forever student. It's like, just teach me, just help me learn. And every time I'm holding a coaching appointment, I'm paying attention to what works, what doesn't work. Always analyzing the coach appointment to see how can I even make this better next time. I don't just settle. You know what settles? Sorry, this can be kind of weird, but you know what settles in a lake? Because I go fishing, I love fishing. And I was thinking about this one day. I was going across the lake fishing, and I was pondering on what settles, like goes to the bottom. There's always that, what do you call it? The stuff you pour on your salad dressing. You know how that settles. But do you know what settles in a lake? What goes to the bottom? Fish poop. I know that's weird, but I just had to go, wait a minute. I don't ever want to be fish poop. I don't want to settle. It's like, nope, forever student. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep learning. So I hope you're that way too, because excellence can only be achieved through education and through practice and adjusting. Super important to go down that path. Really, really good. Now, you know this. I'm going to kind of, I know you get this, but I'm going to walk through this so that you understand something about yourself. On the left, you see an iceberg. On the right, you see a picture of a side profile of you. And just to keep things simple, we're going to keep it simple. There's consciousness, and that operates while you're awake. While you're asleep, it shuts down. Then there's your subconscious, which is 24/7 operating. Doesn't go to sleep. If your subconscious goes to sleep, you're dead. So subconscious, super important. It's going on all the time. Subconscious runs the muscles that keep you from wetting your pants. It also runs the muscles that keeps your heart beating and your lungs expanding and contracting and all your organs. Your subconscious runs everything. What if we move the consciousness down into the subconscious to run everything? You know what would happen? We'd stop breathing, our heart would stop, and we would wet our pants. So subconscious is boss. This is the boss. It is the boss. It decides what you're going to do unless you can change its program. You're programmed and I'm programmed. And based upon those programs in our subconscious, that's what we do. So we have a program to keep our heart beating. We have a program to keep our lungs expanding and contracting. We could go through all the organs and all the systems. The subconscious runs all those programs, and it also controls behavior. It controls what we do, what we ultimately do. Consciously, we are paying attention to what's going on in our life. Well, sometimes we're paying attention. And anyway, this is the gathering process. It interacts with people, interacts with things, makes decisions. And yet those decisions can be overridden by the subconscious. So even though we consciously try to do things, and we can, there is some hardwiring that happens in our subconscious that is boss. Now let's talk about what happens when you get an idea or inspiration to go teach people. Now, this is all going to lead up to how do you tell the world about what you do? Okay, it's all going to lead up, because if you don't get this part, it's not going to make sense why you're chicken of the world. It's not going to make sense. So I got to walk through this to help you understand what I'm going to show you next. So are you still with me? Tell me if you're with me. Click the raise the hand button or say in the chat, you're with me. You with me? Tell me you're with me. Can I make sure? Oh, you're there? Yes? Okay, good. I'm waiting for somebody to say something on the chat. Somebody on the chat, tell me you're there. It hasn't moved. And I just want, oh, there you are. Okay, good. Okay, so inspiration comes to you. Oh, there you go. Oh, it must have just had a moment, because bam, there's a whole bunch. Okay, so inspiration. Let's talk about this. You get inspired to be a coach, a teacher, a mentor. And this inspiration comes in, and it's in your consciousness. And you consciously are like, you know what? I should do this. So now it becomes something on the front of your mind. So now it's out here in the front of your mind, like, you know what? I should do this idea. I got to really help people. Now, the doing part, now lungs expanding, heart beating, is the subconscious. So now it's like, oh yeah, I want to do this. So now it needs to be also agreed upon by the subconscious. So the subconscious thinks for a moment and goes, should we do this? And the consciousness is pushing on it, going, yeah, we should do this. All you got to do is approve of it, subconscious. And the subconscious says, I don't know. We've never been a coach before. So since we've never been a coach before, we're going to throw up a stop. So then the idea of coaching gets stopped. And it was the subconscious that checked history and went, have we ever been a coach before? Should we do this? Have we ever seen somebody be a coach before? I don't know. Should we really tell the world that we're a coach? Like, we're not even really certified. We're not qualified. And we've never done this before. So guess what? The idea of being a coach gets pushed to the back of the mind. It's still there, but it's pushed. And because there was a block thrown up. And so no real action happens, but it is still on the mind, but it's in the back of the mind. So then you know how messages happen. Here it comes again. Hey, you should help people. And here's another inspiration. You know what? I should help people. I should really do this. Maybe I should try to do this. And so then it's posed to the subconscious, and the subconscious goes, wait a second, we've already dealt with this before. No. So it throws together the wall, and then it goes to the back of the mind too. And you can see what's happening. You keep having these inspired moments. They come to your consciousness, you ponder on them, your subconscious evaluates them and says no, and says no, and says no. And guess what happens now? It now weighs on your mind. It's always there, but it's blocked. And what's it blocked by? Your subconscious that says you're not qualified, you're not experienced, you're not certified, you've never taught before, you don't know what you're doing. And so all of these inspired bits of information, principles, life concepts, all get pushed to the back of your mind. So then you try to move forward in life. And this is weighing on the back of your mind. Tell me, have you ever had this happen before? Tell me, either click the raise the hand button in the Zoom bar or tell me on the chat box, do you know what I'm talking about here? And or has this ever happened to you? Right? This is a real thing. It's real. It's not some like, it doesn't just happen to you. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. And look at this. It's the subconscious that evaluated the inspiration. And do you know what the subconscious is full of? The past, the history. That's what it's full of, is it's basing your future off of your past. So if you've never done it before, you shouldn't do it. And guess what? People believe their subconscious. They believe their subconscious. And when their subconscious goes, I don't know. And so then people go, well, I guess I'm kind of doubting. And this is what doubt is when the subconscious evaluates an idea or inspiration and it chooses that you're not ready for it. And it chooses, but consciously you're like, you know what? I should do this. But subconsciously it's like, no, throw it in the back. Just chuck it in the back. We're not going to mess with that. We already have a program. We're already living a particular way. We're not going to do anything else new. And so the subconscious then controls you. Your subconscious is stopping inspiration from happening. It's your subconscious. But because of all the evaluation, do you have the skill? Have you ever done this before? Oh, you're going to make mistakes. You're not qualified. And for some reason, there's this whole certification thing, certified. It's like, what in the world are you talking about? It's like people are so caught up with that. I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years. 17 years. And I have people who are hung up on the fact that I have to be certified before I can do this. And I'm like, okay, you go find something. But you know what's crazy? I meet a lot of people who have certifications who still are not coaching. They still don't find clients. They still are not doing the work. So it wasn't the certification. Guess what it is? Your subconscious is whooping you. It's whooping you. And it's not just going to whoop you one time on one thing. As long as you keep believing that your subconscious knows everything, like it knows your future, it knows what all this inspiration was going to do, it is absolutely just automatically rejecting it and putting it to the back because there's no experience to back it up. But you know what we tell our kids? Go to school, get an education. And then what do we tell them? Get a good job. So going to school, that's something they've never done before. Getting a new job, that's something they've never done before. And so we tell even our own kids and probably even our own spouses, you need to get a good education and get a good career. So we're actually telling them to go against their subconscious that says, well, we've never done this before. Are you with me on this? We actually promote doing things beyond the subconscious ability. But yet, we let our subconscious push to the back the idea of coaching, mentoring, presenting. We let our subconscious be the boss. Now, I think about this kind of stuff all the time. I wonder all the time, where's my subconscious getting in the way? What's it doing? What is it evaluating? How is it measuring this? Because if I don't keep an eye on my subconscious, it is going to reject everything. It's going to reject everything. So the other day, I think it was yesterday, might even been yesterday, sometimes days mixed together. I saw the snowstorm that happened here in Utah, and I was like, oh no, I have a project I'm working on soon that's going to be right out in the open that I could be rained on and snowed on. And so I was sitting there going, I need to find somewhere that has a really big building that I could park my trailer in and do some repairs on it. But I don't want to be getting wet doing that whole thing. Just then, an idea came to me of somebody to call. And at first I went, that would never work. What? What did I just do? What did I just do? The idea came to me, right? The idea came to me. My subconscious got a hold of it and went, oh, that's not going to work. And so I stopped and went, why do you think that won't work? Well, because you never talked to that person before and they're just not going to say it. And I'm like, hold on. I haven't even made a phone call yet. So while my subconscious is about ready to reject this idea, I called this person that I know. It's actually a phone number off of a billboard. And I actually have personally never talked to the person, but somebody else talked to the person about something else. And I called this person, found out the person's name. Her name's Kathy. I said, Kathy, I got a crazy thought. You have this big cover, this big awning thing. I need to fix something. Can I park my trailer underneath there and fix something? And she's like, yeah, come on down. And right then I consciously took this back and I put it into play, where my subconscious, as soon as I got a hold of it, rejected it. And it's like, no, 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 we're going to act on this one. So you can either act on inspiration. If you don't, it's going to drop down into subconscious and bam, it's going to throw it right into the back of the pile. So just heads up, literally, heads up. Part of reaching people in the world and making what you're doing a big deal and having many clients is you have to know this process is going on. And in the world today, you want to pay attention to what you're being inspired to do, to reach out and connect with the world. and tell them what you're doing. You have to pay attention to these inspirations. And if the inspiration comes in and you let your subconscious get a hold of it, it's going to be thrown in the pile. It's going to be thrown in the pile. I don't know if you've ever heard this kind of training before, but when you get inspired, it's very wise to act promptly on it. Promptly. Why is that? Because the subconscious is a chuck it in the backseat process, because it evaluates it from your past. And if it doesn't have enough supportive evidence, it for sure is going to chuck it in the past. So I could tell you all day long how to put your message out there, how to reach people, what to do. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to reject it. You'll go, that's a great idea, Kirk. And then if you don't take action soon, it goes into the basement and then they chuck it in the corner. That's what you'll do. Believe me, I have seen even my own clients do that. And it's like, wait a minute, why did you just chuck that in the back? I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm like, you did. And people don't pay attention to this. So I'm showing you what's happening inside your head, that you're probably chucking things in the back of your head and you're not taking action on them. And then you're complaining that things are not moving, that things are not moving forward. And then you act all lost and confused. That way you can get a lot of sympathy from family and friends, like, oh, this is so hard. And then you say, it's the economy, it's the market. No, it's not. It's you didn't act on your inspiration. Own it. It was your subconscious that chucked it in the back. And maybe you didn't know this process was happening, but now you do. So starting now, pay attention to what you're being inspired to do. And you take that inspiration and you write it down. Don't let it sink into your subconscious, then just get lost in the pile. Write it down and ask yourself, when am I going to take action on this? And I hope it's within 48 hours, you're going to do something about that idea. Because that's what's going to shape and form your ability to reach the people who need to hear your message. If you don't follow these and you chuck them in the back, that's your own doing. But now you know. Okay, who knows they got to do better with their inspiration? Who knows that? Either, I'm sorry, I got caught up in reading your messages over here. Who knows that you got to do something different with your inspiration that you're getting? Put it in the chat. Who knows it? All right, we got a hallelujah. We got a me. You guys are on it. You get what I'm talking about. It's a big deal. And when I meet people who are quote unquote struggling, when they're struggling, I know why they're struggling, because they got a pile in the back of their head. That's why they really are struggling. They got all this inspiration and they're still looking for something else to do. And it's like, no, you need to dig it out of the back. You got to dig these back out, bring them back up here to the consciousness, get all those inspiring ideas back out into your consciousness, put them out on paper, put them into a list, prioritize that list, and get these over here in front of you. Get it out of your subconscious so that you can consciously be pondering on these of what you're going to do next. And then these get to be prioritized. Okay, which one's first? Which one's second? Which one's next? What am I going to do? And then you take action. Because many times inspiration comes in pieces, and we have to do the first to make sense of the second, to make sense of the third and fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. But we have to take action on the first to make sense of all this. If we try to overanalyze what they're all supposed to do, we haven't even taken the first step yet. So you can tell I do a lot of intuitive marketing. There is traditional marketing, and I do intuitive marketing, which means I'm going to capture these ideas. I'm still in business 17 years later as a coach, a presenter. How am I doing it? I'm showing you. You have to pay attention to what your subconscious is doing to your inspired ideas. If you don't become more awake about this, it's just going to throw everything in the back. That's what's going to happen. Good? Tell me you got it. Got it? Good? Okay. All right. That's a big deal. That's big, what we just talked about there. Hope you get it. Because if not, it doesn't matter what you learn. Doesn't matter what you learn, because your mind will not use it. Along with learning, you need and want to understand the functions of your mind. What is it doing with this information? What does your mind do with information? I'd meet people who would come to my seminar 3 days. They get so inspired. All these inspirations in their head. And then I talk to them like a 2 or 3 weeks later. And I'm like, so what did you do with what you learned? Oh, I haven't done anything. I'm like, you didn't do anything? What do you mean? Yeah, I just feel like I kind of lost my passion. And that's what happened. They didn't put it out in front of them. They didn't put it in order. They didn't prioritize them. They didn't take action. And so it's in the back of their head. And guess what they were looking for? The next seminar. And this is how I like to teach. I like to not only teach you the content of what to do, but I also want to teach you about the functions of your mind, so you have a chance to use the information you're getting. You most likely have a pile in your head. I don't know if you spend time pulling the inspiration out of you and organizing it. Most people don't. They're too busy trying to work instead of taking 15 minutes and pulling the inspiration out of their head, so they can see what to do next. And I'll be straight with you. There's many times I look at the inspired ideas and it's like, I don't know how that's going to work, but I do know the thing I'm to do next is take action on it. It doesn't have to make sense for it to work. Did you get that? It doesn't have to make sense because it's inspiration. Inspiration is powerful. It's awesome. Okay, that's enough. I just want to share that with you. I was so excited to share that piece with you about what you're doing there. Now, I'm not going to read this to you. Take a picture. If you're like, oh, I got to take notes, take a screenshot, take a picture. Or if we send out a recording, go back to this moment and pause the screen. Let me just tell you really fast. The marketing that I teach people how to do is you have to master the face-to-face, like one-on-one, and then you'll do better online, and then you'll do better with webinars, and then you'll do better with anything else you do. But if you can't face people face-to-face, you are not going to do well in these other things. So I encourage people, get in front of people and tell them what you do. A phone call, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, practice talking about what it is you do. Because really what marketing is telling people what you do. Launching your business is telling a whole bunch of people about what you do. And if you can't tell one person, how are you ever going to tell the world? You practice face-to-face. And when you're done practicing, you ask them, did that make sense? and then ask them, what could I do to make more sense of this? And then that person helps you. And then you go to the next person. You tell them about what you do. And if they're like, yeah, I want to do this. Okay, great. Let me practice coaching you. But then you ask them, hey, how did I do coaching? Is there anything I should change? Because this is apply what you've learned and adjust. Write those two words down. Apply what you've learned and then look for what to adjust. That's how you get anywhere in life. That's how a plane gets to the airport. They apply the jets and they fly, but they have to adjust to get to the airport. But we, for some reason, as human beings, think all we have to do is do it, and it automatically takes us where we want without any adjustment. And that's why we get lost. It's why we don't do very well in relationships, with money, with coaching, with our personal health, is we don't look for what to adjust. It's like people are naturally prideful and a little cocky, thinking that they should just be able to make it. I guess it's the whole drive-through mentality. It's like, well, if I order at the first window, I just pull forward and get it. And then that's how people start their coaching business. Well, I just tell people what I do, and then I should just drive forward and I get 20 clients. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, don't do the microwave, Pop-Tart, drive-through living. Unsubscribe from that. You real life, like piano practice. You have to practice and adjust. Any sport, you got to practice and adjust. Same thing with coaching, same thing with marketing. But for some reason, people I meet, they just don't want to practice and adjust. And therefore, they never start. So their ideas got in their head of what to do to find the next client or the next 10 clients. And it got down here. They went, oh my goodness, I don't know. And then boom, it's all in the back of their head. Okay, so the face-to-face. Online these days, super accessible to talk to people and tell people what you do. Share what you love to share with people. Give people samples. Have you ever gone to a grocery store and they had samples? Give people samples of what you do. Share it online, samples. Hey, here's a scenario. If you ever have this happen, this is what I would tell you to do. And here's some advice. Give some advice, share some wisdom. Do a YouTube channel, do Instagram, do Facebook, and just share. If you're like, oh, I don't like those things, guess what? There's people there. And you know what people tell me? I don't know where the people are. It's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. They're on social media and they're across the street and they're at the grocery store. There's people everywhere. But guess what their issue is? They don't know what to say. So write this down. Write this down, what I'm about ready to say. Type out your description about what you do and fine-tune it over the next 3 weeks through practice. Write down a description of what you do or what you can do for people. And then over the next 3 weeks, by telling people and getting suggestions, fine-tune it. When you can explain what you do, your confidence goes up and you'll talk to people face-to-face, online, webinars, radio, TV, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're going to put yourself out there. But you have to get good at explaining what it is you do. If you can't explain what you do and feel good about it, no marketing is going to work for you. Even if you hire a marketing company, they're going to write stuff about what you do, and it's not going to be accurate. And it's not going to be your style, and it's not going to come from your heart. It's going to come from their hearts. It's just going to be really a big struggle. So you have to get good in explaining about what you do for people, what you want to offer people, what service, what product you have for people. You have to get good at explaining it. If you can't do that, you will hold back and you will pull back and you will shy away. Now, believe me, I've been coaching people for 17 years. I can see exactly why people get stuck, and it's why you're stuck. And if I was coaching you, let's say you hired me as your coach, I would be going through all of this with you personally and a lot more to help you get tuned up and practicing. That's the thing. We got to tune you up and practice. But this is where you start. And you're like, oh, I did stuff online, Kirk, and it didn't work. Yeah, you were talking from your head. The way people feel your message is when your message comes from your heart. Head talk is like reading an encyclopedia. It has no heart to it. So when people say, oh, I've already done Facebook, it doesn't work. It's like, okay, you were speaking from your head. There's a big difference when you get down into your heart and you actually care about humanity and you're not thinking about yourself. When you're worried about how you look and you're worried about how you sound, you're coming from your head. When you worry about what people think about you, you are head talk, no heart talk. There's none. And so that's why people don't call you. That's why they don't want to work with you, because all they hear is encyclopedia conversation. It's a big deal. And I help my clients go from their head to their heart. And then when we can put those two together, head and heart, they cry. I cry. I just start bawling because the tone of voice that comes out of their mouth, it's just when somebody speaks from their mouth and their head and their heart are wrapped together, and that comes out of their mouth in this beautiful spiral of communication, it pierces the heart. It touches them. So people that I've worked with and like, oh, I've tried that. Oh, I've tried that. I'm like, you have no idea what you missed. Let me coach you. I start talking to them about the difference of their head conversation and a heart conversation. And most people have never been trained on how to put that together. They don't know. That's why their marketing doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work. Tell me if you're getting something from this. I gotta know. Give me some feedback. You getting something? Either click the raise the hand button or, okay, I hear you in the chat box. Yeah, yep, yes. Okay, my chat box is over here and I'm watching. Okay, good. This is making sense to you. Okay, so if it's not working for you and you're talking to people, there's a good chance it's all head talk. It's not hardly, maybe a tiny percentage of heart talk. But here's the key factor to find out. If you worry about what others think about you, if that weighs on your mind, doing a video, doing an audio, doing a presentation, doing a coaching appointment, if you worry about that, you're in your head. And you're going to find out you're in your head a lot. And then when you're telling people about what you do, they could have read that in an encyclopedia. Not that you would have been in an encyclopedia, but you know what I'm talking about, right? All right. I love you enough to say that to you and teach you that, to be able to get you down further into your heart. So what does that mean, Kirk? Well, that means is you have to be thinking about them more than yourself. You have to care about their problems and really desire to find a solution for the person so you can get out of your head and care. Get out of your head and think about how can you help this person's life get better. And if you say something wrong, it doesn't bother you. If the whole time you had hair crimpled on one side, it doesn't matter. It's not even on your mind. It's like you don't even spend time worrying about yourself. You're so deeply connected to helping them find a solution, helping them find the answer. That's when you're in your heart. And that's when they can feel it. That's the yummy side of coaching. I know I just said that, but it's just so good. It's so good to come from the heart. It's where intuition really thrives, is when you're connected like that. So good. Okay, this next part, there's a lot I could read. I can't stop and read all of this, but let me just explain it. So my magic sauce of success for 17 years has been do a live event every 2 weeks. So when I was doing live events, we would meet every 2 weeks and we'd invite people and they'd come to a free class. I'd create a free presentation for 60, 90, or 120 minutes, completely free. And then at the end of that experience, I would invite them to a class or invite them to coach with me. And that's what I would do. And I would do that every 2 weeks. Then when the COVID restrictions happened in March of 2020, I switched to webinars, and I've still been doing a webinar every 2 weeks. Pretty close. Like sometimes it's been 3 weeks, just depending on how the months lay out. but every 2 weeks. But so I've been doing a presentation to the public for free every 2 weeks. I really believe if you really want to help, you're going to give to the community. You're going to share. And you're not going to just give some little shallow, tiny nugget in your presentation. You're really going to help them. And so for 2 years, every 2 weeks for 17 years, I've been doing this. And we still love what we do. We have so many people we work with all over the world. It's amazing. And when you do webinars and then you put them on your YouTube channel, then people watch them. And then you got people calling you from islands and different countries, way on the other side of the world, wanting to learn what you have to share. It's beautiful. But there's my secret sauce. And then what you do is you invite people everywhere you go. You're telling people. Every business you walk into, everywhere there's a business card, you grab it. Every person you meet at the store, you invite them. You're constantly inviting. And what does that look like? That's face-to-face experiences. But you're inviting people to your webinar, to your live presentation. And if nobody shows up, you still do the presentation because you said you would. Doesn't give you a night off. You do your presentation because you said you would do a presentation that night. And then you have another one already scheduled in 2 weeks. And then you tell them, I'm doing this again in 2 weeks. Come back, watch it again, bring a friend, tell your neighbor, spread the word. Ask the people that you're speaking to spread the word. They're going to do it again. And then at the end of your presentation, invite them to do something. Go to a class, purchase something from you, a program, a product, but give them something that will help them. But here, teach them, help them, get into their world, show them how much you care. Don't just market that you care, show it. So this has been fantastic. So doing an event every 2 weeks, and I think I put webinar every 2 weeks. Invites, emails, ask other people to promote, social media posts, all go point to the webinar, then people show for the webinar, and then at the end, invite them to the next step or whatever the invitation is. Now, the same process you can do with emails. If you have emails, you can email them, and email them one time a week, share a gold nugget of information. And then every third or fourth time, invite them to take action, either for your product or your service. Then social media posts, same thing. Talk to the people, share with the people, help the people. And then when it's time, you're going to do a webinar or a live event or something, then invite them to come to it. But that's where people are at, social media. And then you got this one where you can post a video on social media. Videos are the thing. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these crazy places where there's tons of people, millions and millions and millions of people are on these sites. And even though you don't like it, it's where there's people. I've met some incredible people who have only found me through my YouTube channel. That's where they found me. And they'd watch my videos. And then after a year or so, so many times, like there's one that was like a year and a half later, they booked a call with me. And I got to meet them and they're like, yeah, I found you a year and a half ago and I've been watching it for a year and a half. And it's like, what? That's crazy. So many good things to do. Open up a YouTube channel, start sharing 10-minute, 15-minute gold nuggets of information. Here it says it's 10, 20, 60 or 90-minute presentation. So you can start small, but start populating a YouTube channel with different topics, different things you believe in or you want to share with people or wisdom you've shared. All kinds of people are doing it. And guess what? They're getting hundreds and thousands of people watching them for all different kinds of crazy stuff. Even if your propeller is bent, you have people watching you. So each one of these is just fantastic. I have a friend right now, her name's Julie, and she does podcasts and she does really well. She meets people from all over the world through her podcast, and she does a podcast every week. It's beautiful. I've never done podcast side. Oh no, actually we do have a podcasting now because now we take my recordings to do it. But we haven't done that for many years. Let me rephrase that as we haven't done that for many years, but now we have a podcast that happens. So lots of great ways to communicate. But then what you do is you have them come to something or participate in something. And I just personally love webinars. I think it's cool. They get to see me, they get to hear me. It's real. I'm right here. I get to watch your chats. I get to, see your comments. We get to interact. You find out I'm human. You find out. So you go through the list and you're like, okay, what am I going to start learning about? Now, you can jump on YouTube and learn any of this, right? So I don't need to tell you how to do this. There's all kinds of how-to videos on YouTube to do every single one of these. What you want me to coach you on is the mindset, because if you don't know what's going on in your head, or let me just narrow it down, your subconscious is going to block these ideas and you won't do them. And if you did not know what to do here, do you remember what I told you what to do? I gave you all the steps of what to do. I rattled them off, how to get past this mind block. You see that? Mind block. It's going to cost you. You're going to waste time. You're going to procrastinate because of this. Because you can't get your ideas out of your head and take action. You're letting your mind block smother them. It's going to cost you time. Another week is going to go by. Another month is going to go by. Another year is going to go by. And you're going to keep wishing you would have started. And it's going to weigh on your mind. And when something weighs on our mind, it makes us feel down, weighed down. And it actually can cause you to get into depression, levels of depression, because you're not expressing what's on your mind. If you're not expressing what's on your mind that you've been inspired to do, it gets heavy. And whatever that heaviness does to you, some people it causes depression, because that's what happened to me. I got depressed because I wasn't sharing my ideas years and years and years and years ago. So now I share my ideas and it keeps me in a good, healthy place. And I'll tell you, you'll be a lot healthier if you got off your mind what you've been inspired to share. You will definitely feel so much lighter. It's beautiful. So when you're doing this work and you're putting yourself out there, people need to get to know you. That is a particular step. They don't know you. So they don't like you yet, and they don't trust you. So these are not even in the ballpark yet. So they need to get to know you. So how can you let them get to know you? Well, do a video. They get to learn your personality. Open up your heart, open up your voice. They get to learn from the way you talk, what things you talk about. All of you now know I talk about angels and devils, right? So you get to know me, and then you can either like me or not. And if you don't like me, it's okay. You don't have to like me, because I'm not here trying to make you like me. I'm okay if you don't like me. But if you know me and you like me, it then moves to levels of trust. And when there's levels of trust, and then I say, hey, I have a class called Coach Fast Track. And if the person has high levels of trust with me, they'll go, oh, wow, I got to check that out. But they only check it out because there's trust. There's knowing me, starting to like me, and starting to trust me. Those people who trust are the ones who actually choose to want to learn from you. So you have two levels to get people through. They have to get to know you through either a website or a blog or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or emails. Then they start to like you or not. Notice how this group is smaller than this one. That means some of these people just won't like you. They're just like, moving on. And then the ones who do like you, they stay. And then as they stay and they learn more about you, they trust you. It's like the gentleman who lives back east, and I hope he's listening right now. The gentleman who lives back east, who I got on a phone call with, and he says, we talk about you in our home. I'm like, you do? And he goes, yeah, we've been talking about you for a year and we've never met, but my family and I, we talk about the things you teach on your YouTube channel. And I was like, are you serious? And he goes, oh yeah, we talk about Kirk all the time. And it just blows my mind. It's just like so cool that I could be helping, but I'm not physically there. It's so awesome. This whole process of the way that the world is built right now is just magical in how we can connect with people. And he wanted to learn about Coach Fast Track. He's like, what is this? I want to do this. And so I shared the information with him and he's like, I'm in, let's do it. I want to do this. And it's because he knew me, he liked me, he trusted me. And now he's open to look at the program I have. So you might have the thought process that you send out an email and everybody is just supposed to buy your product or service. You got to give people a little bit of room here to know, like, and trust you. Because if you don't give them a chance to know you, like you, and trust you, they're just going to delete your email. They're just going to be done. Because now you're just trying to sell something. They want to know if you really want to help them. And if you really are being helpful and not just trying to market, they like you. They're grateful. They're like, oh, Kirk helps. He really shows us what's going on. He shows me what's going on with my thinking. He shows me where to go next. So let them get to know you and like you. And then hopefully there's some trust. So when you have something to show them or share with them and invite them to, they're actually interested because they have that relationship with you. So many times people cut these out. They figure, oh, all they need to do is just know what I have to offer and they should buy. And that's not true. It's not going to happen. And then you'll be shocked to find out that people don't just instantly purchase from you. It's about relationships and building relationships. Building a relationship is letting them get to know you and then let them decide if they like you or not. And just so you know, the numbers do decrease. Not everybody's going to like you. How does that feel? Does that feel like, oh no, I'm not lovable? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But you don't need to think like everybody's supposed to love you. That's not possible. That's not possible. No, the more you open your heart, it helps people decide faster. It just helps people go, nope, don't like him. Yep, I do like him. I was teaching a class once. I had just finished a seminar and there was like 800 people in the room, right? And the class is over. It's been 3 days, 3-day class, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And awesome class. I thought it was awesome. I'm walking off stage and this guy walks up to me and he goes, can I shake your hand? And I was like, hey, nice to meet you. And I'm chit-chatting with him. And he's like, man, I just love you, man. I just love you. And he's like, this was the best ever. I just love you. And I was like, hey, thanks. And then we finished talking and I turned to go to the backstage to go get my stuff so I could head home that night, right? And this other guy catches me. And he goes, hey, can I shake your hand? I'm like, yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming. And he goes, well, just so you know, I don't like you. I said, you don't? And he goes, no, I've been here for 3 days and I just don't like you. And I was like, okay. And he goes, well, don't you want to change that? And I'm like, no, that's you. If you don't like me, that's totally cool. And he goes, no, I respect you. I just don't like you. I said, good. I said, all right, love you. Have a good night. But it's like, if I get too caught up in that everybody's supposed to like me, I got something else wrong with me. I got to work on my own self-love. Write this down. If your self-love is low, you're going to try to get love from your audience. And that's not okay, because they're not going to give it to you. you can't get enough from your audience to think that that's going to fill the hole in your soul because you trash on yourself or whatever it is that's causing your self-love to go down. And I say trash on yourself because that's where my lack of self-love came from, was the trash talk, the negative talk that I had on myself, like carved a hole in my soul. And then I was like, oh, I need other people to love me to fill the hole, instead of me loving myself, liking myself. Well, first it starts out with like, right? Liking myself. But just heads up with that, not everybody's going to like you. And it's okay. It's all right. There's still millions and millions of people out there that are perfect for you to work with. Good to know. Okay, I don't know if that settled with you very good, but maybe you're hoping like, no, everybody's got to like me. But I just don't want it to be a shocker when not everybody likes you, or you might quit what you do just because somebody doesn't like you. No, don't quit over that. Don't do that. Don't stop just because somebody's bothered by what you do. That might even be your own family. And your own family does not understand your mission in life, just so you know. They just don't know what you've been inspired to do. Love your family, but just know they don't have to completely be supportive for you to do what you need to do. It's important that you are willing to take action no matter what support systems you have, because you'll find people. I like hanging around people who are going for it, organizing their business. I love creating a community of awesome people. You ought to hang out in my world with us in the Coach Fast Track program. That'd be cool, because this is what we talk about all the time, is coaching. The do's and don'ts of coaching, so we can get really good at it. So if you're wondering, there is a lot on the internet of how to market. 10 ways, 26 ideas, 8 powerful, 101 small marketing ideas, 27, 7, 24. And the list just goes on. It goes on and on. 8 steps to marketing. There's just like millions of sites to learn about marketing. But that's not what you're going to run into. It's not a lack of knowledge. It is, let me show you here. It's going to be a lack of doing. That's what's going to be missing. For whatever's going on inside your head, you're going to stay down in this zone to just keep learning. What I highly suggest, learn about your mind, which we touched on that tonight. You can get on and learn how to do a webinar. You can open up a Zoom account. They have tutorial videos of how to do a webinar. It would take you just a couple evenings of studying some tutorials. You could do a webinar. Do a webinar. This is where you need to get to, is doing. And that's what I do with all my clients. It's like, you need to do the work. Don't just sit here and study. You got to be doing. Because what you want to do is, if you're in the act of doing what you currently know how to do, now you get to get into, okay, what needs to be adjusted in your mindset and what needs to be adjusted in your presentation skills, your coaching skills. And that's why people don't want to start doing. And that's probably why you're not fully doing the work, is because you don't want to change. You don't want to adjust. You just want to be able to learn and do it the first time and get the goal without having to make any corrections. Do you know why you don't want to be corrected? Because you're sensitive. Do you know why you're sensitive? The reason why you're sensitive is you have a bunch of inspiration in the back of your head you haven't taken action on. And so it makes you sensitive, a little edgy. And so because you're a little edgy, because you haven't done what you've been inspired to do, you don't really want to fully get into it because then you got to work on yourself and it's about you and you got to make some corrections to how you're presenting and how you do your webinar. And that could trigger you. And the reason why you could be triggered is because all that stuff in the back of your head makes you feel a little guilty or feel disloyal, or I don't know what it is for you, but disloyal, guilty, procrastinator, hesitation, put things off, and it bugs you because you know that it's sitting there. So I don't know if that fits you or not, but I'm going to coach you right now and say, if you stay down here in only the learning, you're going to become miserable because this is not satisfying. You will get to the point where you just can't learn anymore. And you'll be learning all this stuff. You'll go, why do I not feel good? How come I'm not feeling fulfilled? It's because you have a lot of input and not much output. It's all backing up inside of you. It's like you're the Dead Sea. There's an inlet and there's no outlet. The Sea of Galilee has an inlet and an outlet. That's why it's beautiful. That's why there's trees. That's why there's flowers. And so we got to look at this and go, there has to be an inlet and an outlet. And if you're not letting that information flow through you, you are damming that wisdom inside of you and you're backed up, which makes you sensitive and trigger happy. And then what you'll do is you'll blame people for how you feel. You'll blame external circumstances for why you feel miserable. But you would never know this. But I coach people and I know what happens and I know where you need to go. You need to get into the doing zone with what you currently have right now to be teaching and coaching and leading and guiding people the best you can with what you know right now. Get going. And if you're like, Kirk, but I'm missing some pieces. Okay. Just do what you can. But in your learning, there's two different kinds of learning. There's a bunch of data you can learn, but learn what to do for step by step. That's what you want to do is you want to go, okay, what are the steps? Anytime you're ever looking for training, make sure that the program lays things out step by step. It makes it a lot easier to get into the doing because it's step by step. So really look at it. Study the trainer, study the coach. Do they lay it out in detail beyond what you ever would have thought? Step by step. Because if you know the step by step, you'll get into the doing, you'll feel more confident, and then you'll be more open to mindset adjustments and presentation adjustments. And as you go through this adjusting phase, boom, you're in the causing an impact. Now, this is not the number of people you're impacting. This is the number of coaches, representation that actually get to this level. It's where you want to be because there's a lot of coaches that are here and they're learning a bunch of stuff, but they don't even coach. But they tell people they coach. They're not even coaching. Not even paid clients. They don't even have regular appointments. So this is the number of coaches out of this many that are actually in the doing, and the coaches that are actually making an impact is a small percentage. There's room up here for you to be this kind of coach. There's lots of room to stand out. but it's the doing phase. This doing phase is the most difficult phase. The do and the adjustments. And this is where you want to be with somebody, a coach or a facilitator who knows what to adjust, who knows how to practice. That's what you want to look for, is that kind of facilitator, that kind of coach to work with you, is somebody who's talking about doing and also can show you what's going on and how to adjust it. That's what's going to move you through this phase that most people get afraid of and they drift back down to here. This right here is my specialty, is to get people through this phase. This is where I know I stand and I play this part. I'm right here in this spot. So I'm in this spot ready to help you to be able to move through the doing, the mindset adjustments, and the corrections in how you coach, what you coach, your processes, your techniques, your intuition, so you can be in the percentage of people making an impact. This is where I can make the biggest difference for you, is this area. Yes, I can teach you this. I got lots to share with you here that are step by step, but I know where you're going to struggle. And people who get into this zone and they struggle, the easy path is to go back to learning. But now here you are learning, and you have a mind full of inspiration, and that equals miserable. Inspiration without expression leads to depression. So if you're in this zone or have got to this zone before, got lost, didn't know what to do, it fell apart, and you slipped back, I totally get you. You didn't know what was going on. I can help you here. I know what to look for. I know what to listen for. I know what to feel for. I know where people get stuck. Been doing this for 17 years, focusing on training, but more importantly, doing and teaching you what to watch for so you can be aware and conscious of what to look for. Because if you can see it, then you can make those self-corrections, and boom, there you are, amongst the small percentage of people who are making a big impact. This is where I know you belong. Of course, you belong all along the way, but if you're here listening to me still, you are like me. You're just like me. It's in your heart, it's in your blood, it's in your system, it's in your soul. You know this is your calling. This is where you're going to get hung up, is in the doing and the adjusting. And this is where I'm here for you. The learning and how to do this process. Cool, huh? So good. So good. So along the way, there are certain steps to take to get you to working with people. This is like the same thing I just showed you, but just in a little bit different format. Where I see people get stuck is they don't track their ideas. They don't trust their intuition. They don't know coaching skill. They don't know how to organize their content. They don't know how to practice. And they don't know what to adjust. And these are a lot of walls to try to get through when you're trying to do it yourself. I honor the do-it-yourselfers, but I'm very aware that they're going to run into these 6 walls. They can't get their ideas out. They don't know how to move their intuition to the next level. They don't know about coach skill. They got some, but not enough. Content, they don't know. techniques. They don't know the order of them, how to align a human being from head to toe. They don't know what to do when practicing. They don't know how to analyze the appointment, and they don't know what to really adjust to be able to move to the next level. So therefore, they struggle finding people. I don't mean to put all this in front of you to go, that's a lot, but you need to know what's happening. You need to know like what's going on, because becoming a coach is like, get it, make it happen. And you can do it yourself. I honor the do-it-yourselfers as they're trying and as they're trying. But it's unfortunate how many people I see who just don't have clients. And they want to. And they can't figure out what's wrong. And I want to help, because I know how to help. And I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you go to bed at night. You sit there and wonder, why can't I get this thing moving? And once you start that wondering and slightly doubting, the subconscious kicks in and goes, well, maybe this isn't for you. And then you got the devil on your shoulder. He throws gasoline all over these ideas and lights them on fire. And then before you know it, you're really questioning yourself if you really were meant to do this. And then you question where that inspiration came from. And I get it. You might even be questioning God, going, you picked the wrong person. And now you're pushing back on God or whoever your higher power is. You're pushing back, going, you got the wrong person. And all of a sudden now you're smarter than where the inspiration came from. It's not like you're trying to rebel. You're just hurt. You're hurt. You're confused. Like you're trying to make it work and it won't work. And you don't know what to do. And this is where I've been inspired to stand, is right here to help you move through these walls, through these obstacles, so you can take these steps step by step. So you can move forward, so you can see what's next. So it's not some kind of blind process. This is what I do. I do it every day, except Saturday and Sunday. I go hang out with my grandkids, or I go fishing. I'm with my family. But Monday through Friday, I'm helping people along this path so that they don't get stuck. Because if you get stuck, guess who loses? Well, first you lose. Second, you now are miserable to the people around you, or bummed out or feeling down. You're confused about why you even got the inspiration. And then the people that were out there, and I'm going to say it, the people that were out there praying for help, and then God inspired you with what to teach, and now you don't deliver the message. And there's a good chance there's children praying for their mom, praying for their dad, praying for their grandma, praying for their grandpa, hoping somebody will help them. And you're the one to help. And I know you might not completely believe that yet, but I could get that belief in you. Because what if every Wednesday you were part of a coach call, and I'm the one there talking about this, opening this up, explaining this, showing you how this works. What if I could open your eyes and help you see what you're dealing with and what's happening so you can navigate through it? That's what you're looking for, is like somebody to show you the path, the steps, and the obstacles. What's the path? What are the steps? What are the obstacles so that you can navigate through it and make progress? This is what I do. I can help you. So along this path, what if this was an answer to your prayer tonight? What if this was an answer to what you're looking for? Is I have a class called Coach Fast Track. And the words say it, fast track. And the Coach Fast Track program walks you through this experience. The Coach Fast Track program teaches you and gets you into the mode of doing, so that I could be there to be able to show what's happening. Every Wednesday from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, every Wednesday, I'm there sharing, showing, guiding, helping, answering questions, coaching, just giving it all, not holding anything back on those Wednesdays. And then you get to have my online training called Coach Fast Track Online Academy that is step-by-step how to coach, what to coach, the techniques to coach, like show you what I've been doing for 17 years. And the coaching material I use. I mean, it would be awesome. I don't know about you, but would you want to have a coaching program that's already pre-written? And maybe you want to build your own, maybe you already have your own, but if you don't have your own, I have a coaching program that's ready to go. As long as you can follow instructions a little bit, you can have a coaching program that I've built that you can start teaching people. And are you open to learn how to navigate time during a coaching appointment? Because there's certain things you don't want to do during a coach appointment. And there's certain things you want to do, but I could show you how. That's my whole gig. My whole thing is like, I just want to show you how, because it's worked for me and it really works well. And I'm a normal guy. I'm your neighbor. I'm a normal person who just loves to help people. And if you love to help people, wow, we could help you to be able to help a lot of people move from this to this. From like they're wandering all over the place, you then could be a person in people's lives to help them get organized, get them focused. And that's like cool. That's like so good. So good. Now I got to show you this too. I don't know about you, but do you like helping people, like, you know, giving advice and suggestions? But here's the other thing. What if you could understand more of what was going on underneath the surface? I love talking about this. It's not therapy, it's coaching. I love helping people, and I could teach you how I do this in those Wednesday calls, 8 to 10 o'clock every week in the Coach Fast Track program. I mean, you get some live coaching that is just literally going to open up your mind in a huge way. So yes, I do have a program called Coach Fast Track. It is real. It is full on real. And it is my love, my passion. It's where my focus is. And it is just well packed with incredible training to really support you in what you need to do next to make this a reality for you, to have some clients. The online training is beautiful. I made all these brand new training videos. And this one right here, it's called the discovery process. When I finish this video, now this is probably, you're probably going to think I'm a strange person for saying this, but when I finish this video, I literally sat right here. Well, I'm standing right now, but I was sitting here at my desk and I just started bawling. I just started bawling, not because it was bad, because I was sitting here because I got to share this. I've never shared this before. In all of my 17 years of teaching seminars, I've never shared this with people. It's been one of my own discoveries and my own processes and how I coach. and I've never shared it. And when I was making this video, I was like in shock. I was in shock that I was sharing it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be way too much. But it kept flowing. It just kept moving through me. And when I got to the end, I just sat there and cried like, this is really going to help people. This is going to help the coaches help others. And I was just so tickled about it. And this is only one of the videos that I've made. And I'm just really happy with this. So the online content is a program that you can go through step by step at your own pace. It's amazing. And it's very well packed. It's just so much good, rich content to learn from. You guys, I could talk about this forever. But to learn the process of coaching, if you don't have content, there is a process you go through where you take your ideas out of your mind and we show you how we build content. It's this incredible process that you learn, and now for the rest of your life, you can build programs. I will coach you how to get in alignment with the 3 key elements, but most importantly, to check the box that you have these skills moving forward. Because this is a weird, wild year to be living on the planet. And next year is looking to be a little bit weird and wild next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. So we get to upgrade our skills. We get to get better. We get to be better. So here's what you do. If you're interested in learning more of the details about this Coach Fast Track program, this is what you do. You either scan this, you just open up your phone app on your phone and just put your phone over that, and then it will give you a link. Or you type in 3ke.2/fast track in your computer, and it's going to take you to a page that talks about the Coach Fast Track program. On that page, there are different buttons that are orange, meaning down the page, there's these different buttons. Click one of those orange buttons, and then I think there's a couple questions you answer, and then schedule a call. And either it'll be myself or one of my leaders, and then they will give you all the details about this program, about how it works, how much it costs, the time, what you can expect from it. And I want to just give you, a little bit about that as I was talking to you here. But if you're interested in having my experience in your life and watching me coach, answer questions, and learn from what I've learned over the last 17 years, scan this code or go to this place, look for the orange button, click it, answer the questions, book the call. And then you can get all the details. And then from those details, you can make a decision if this is something that is right for you. So I'm there. This is where I am at. I'm right here. I'm right here to walk you through this experience, to get you from learning to doing to causing an impact. Meaning you're not only coaching, but you're causing change happen in people's lives. So this is my job, to be right here to serve you, to teach you, to train you. I don't know where you are at on this, but I know where I'm at. And if you want some help, some support, some guidance, a little bit of accountability and some nudging, I'm gonna keep putting the fire in your belly to get taken action, because this is what really makes things happen right here. And if you need some people in your life to help get you moving because you got stuff in your head, then let's do this. If you want training from me, let's do this. But do that. Go to that site, book a call, jump on a phone call, get all the details. So that way you can make a decision from this. There's no harm in getting all the details. No harm at all. So warning about spouse sabotage. Sometimes people get inspired and then they're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then they tell their spouse or their partner, like, I'm going to do this. And guess what they say? Why are you going to do that? What are you doing that for? And guess what? Instead of having your subconscious throw your idea in the back of your head, now your spouse is. or your partner. They're throwing your idea into the back of your own head. Like for some reason, they know what you're supposed to do with your life. So just heads up about that. Literally, if you feel like you should talk to myself or one of my leaders about this program, book the call, get all the details. And if you feel like this is the right space to be, and I'm the person to coach you and train you, then do it. But be conscious about those around you who have their ideas thrown to the back of their head. Because when somebody's like this, they do the same thing to other people. When they're like this, they'll do it to others. And sometimes it's family. They're not even acting on their inspiration. Why should they let you? So just heads up. So I put that in there just so you know, warning about that. And if you want to be a do-it-yourselfer, okay, go for it. I honor it. But as you're wandering around, the rest of us are making progress. If you want to make $2,000 a month, that's doable. If you want to make $5,000 a month being a coach, it's doable. If you want to do $10,000 a month, it's doable because there's a process, there's a system, and there's boxes to check. And when you put those pieces in order and you do that in order, it works. And it happens. Here's Brooke. I just realized I made $14,000 this month. Oh my goodness. With training with Kirk in the elite program. That was a coaching program. She's making $14,000 a month. Oh my goodness. What could happen if you got your head straight and you knew your path and you knew the obstacles you're going to face so you could be prepared? Like, what could happen? I could tell you what would happen. $6,800 in a day, $10,000 for 3 months in a row, $16,000 in 23 days, $7,650, $6,000 in January. I mean, it's possible because you are serving the people. You're helping the people. You're helping them solve problems. If there's going to be a mechanic who will help people fix their car, you can coach people. If there's going to be a landscaper who goes to a yard, reconstructs the yard, and charges for it, you can help people reconstruct their life. If somebody can write a book and sell it, you can coach people and sell it. Your service as a coach is as important as a mechanic, as an author, as a landscaper, as a plumber, as an electrician, as a builder. You play a very important role in changing people's lives. And if you want help, I'd love to be the one to help you. You want training? I can train you. I know what I'm doing. I'm very clear about how it works and how it doesn't work. And then you get to be professional. You get to help others, and you get to love what you do. So the next step, if you want to work with me and be around me and learn from me all the things I've learned, go there to the 3canvas.2/fast track, find the orange button, click it, answer the couple questions I have for you there, and then schedule a call. There's no harm in getting all the details. And my team will give you the details. And seriously, you then get to make a decision from there. We are not high pressure people. If we have to pressure you into purchasing, what's that all about? If you can't tell that it's for you, don't get in the program, because then I have to keep reconvincing you month after month after month to keep going. And that's what's beautiful about this Coach Fast Track program, is it has people in it who made their own choice. They want it. They weren't pressured. They weren't pushed. They chose to do it. And I honor them. I respect them. They respect me. It's incredible energy in the Coach Fast Track program because people are here because of choice, not because of pressure. Nobody has been pushed into being in this program. I promised myself years ago, I am not going to push people into happiness. I am not going to push them in discovering who they are because they just fight back. They resist. And when there's resistance, there's regret. And I don't want people to have regret. I want them to love what they're doing. Now, it's not a coasty ride. It's not like it's super easy. It's like we got to do the work, right? So if you're willing to do the work, you're ready to get started, you want to get to that level of making an impact, then book that call. And you might be talking to me, or you might be talking to one of my leaders. They're all awesome. They are just amazing, big-hearted, open, very good at listening. They love what we do. My whole team is part of this Coach Fast Track program. We really are here for you. And we really do think about the people you are going to be coaching. Because if you're good at what you do, that means people's lives are going to change. And so that's where we want to help you get to, is to be at that level of greatness, that level of excellence. And so your heart can open up and just pour that love out on everybody. That cool? It's so good. It is so good. And so really become the best coach they ever met. That's what I hope for you. So what are we going to do for takeaways tonight? Okay, so you got this, you can take action on. Let me scroll back here through this and emphasize one other slide that I've gone back to many times. Do you remember what to do here? Remember what to do? You got to get it out of your head, right? So within the next 24 hours, sit down with a pad of paper or put your fingers on the keys of your keyboard and get these ideas and inspiration out of your head so your subconscious can't just throw them in the back and forget about them. Get them out of your head, put them into a list so that you could see all of them. Okay, I hope you're taking notes. Hope you're just reviewing your notes, actually, so you can see all of them. Then the next step is to sort these based upon what you feel and sense is the priority of these ideas. And then take the first one and start taking action on it. And some of these might not make sense, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just take action on the first one. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. So good. So, and then beyond that, I hope your other action step from this is the face-to-face. Do you remember what to do here? Write out your description and practice telling people about what you do and refine that over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Because if you can't explain what you do, you're going to hide from people. You'll be busy, but you won't be connecting to people. Okay, you got it? Okay, super good. And really great content tonight. Just really love this. And I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad you're here. And last thing, let's do some great work. Would love to work with you to get you through what's going on with you. Go book that call right now. And when you get on the call, and they go through all the details, be sure to tell them that Kirk said, I'm giving you a $1,000 scholarship that you can apply to the tuition for Coach Fast Track. Okay, I hope you wrote that down. That you tell them, Kirk said on the webinar, to say, Kirk said, I get to apply a $1,000 scholarship to the tuition of the Coach Fast Track program. So that would reduce it $1,000 down. So you have to say that. They're not going to bring it up. You have to say that to be able to claim that. And it would be a $1,000 scholarship off of the tuition that they have for you on the Coach Fast Track program. That is a massive gift I just want to give you right now for being here clear to the end of the webinar. Okay, I got to go. Super cool to be with you. Love it. Love spending time with you. Hope I get a chance to work with you. And if I don't get a chance to work with you, get out there. Get out there. Get out there and help somebody. And remember this. I just got to show it one more time, just so you remember. Remember this. If you get into the zone of doing and you get stuck, it's because you have to change and upgrade your mindset. That's the way you think, the way you process, and you have to change the way you're doing your presentation. So when you get into this zone, you got to come find me. Come be in my world so I can show you what to adjust. After 6,000 presentations, I figured out what works and what doesn't work. Cool? All right, cool. Okay, thank you. Have a good night, and big hugs and loves to you and your family. I hope you're safe, and be careful during the holidays, and traveling or anything like that. Keep your eyes open and watch out for that little devil on your shoulder. Follow what the angel tells you. We need good people like you, teaching, coaching, and helping. We really do. We really do. All right. Love you guys. Thanks. Bye.